is only 1 hour. Being as
Hey, you guys better be quiet because there's no intro yet.
Okay. You don't have the intro, or you do have the intro?
We're here. I was gonna say I'm Pete. I'm reading the name Pete. Hey, I learned something from last week. Why I kept looking like, why do I look like I'm looking way over there? If you move your windows to the side and you're talking to you guys, it naturally moves my head. I'm not moving my head, it's just my eyes. So
what are you doing? Why don't we do this in the 5 minutes before we go live? We always seem to do it.
People like to know the bones of the show here. And today I dragged my screen where I normally look to the center right under the camera instead of off to the freaking side like a
okay, I can see that. That makes sense.
Because I was always like, why am I always like this? And I'm stupid. But hey, just to let everybody know today, if you go by the beer length and how long the show is going to be, I have 2 full beers.
Great. Great.
How many you got?
Well, I bring a lot because in case this drags on like it usually does.
I have a Coke Zero.
Yeah, so that lasts forever.
Yeah.
And it rots your insides out.
No, you dump it in the plant quick.
So, we like to complain that there was no prep to this show, so I'm going to continue the no prep drag racing that we do here on RC Babble. If you're new to this Babble, we are the only show that tells you exactly what's going to happen in the show name, right?
Yeah.
The
show is not called Insights.
Yeah. Whatever terrible show you watch on the other channels of RC people talking in their bedroom or closet, we don't hide anything. We're just going to babble. We do have some topics today. We do give away some stuff, which is great. I do have arms. I'm just noticing that it looks like I don't have arms, but I got some. And we were talking about web seminars with a teacher, and one of the things they teach is to move back so people can see your arms. So because you're supposed to talk with your hands and stuff like that.
I don't have arms. I have claw hands. This is my hand.
Pete always has some toy on the table. If nobody knows who we are, we do a magazine. I think I have. We don't have a normal skin, but we do a magazine about radio control cars, not just a stupid web channel live skit.
It looks like this is the magazine.
Magazine's on your iPad. It's called Velocity RC Cars Magazine. It's only $10 for the year. You get every back issue. If you don't subscribe, you're a moron. And that's really just giving it to you how it is. It's truth. And
I love when we attack our viewers.
Well, they're not a viewer. They attack our.
You all. I'll fight you
if you don't subscribe. I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't like you if you're not a subscriber. But I'll still give you something for free. So I like you a little bit. And we're going to give some stuff away free today. We got a two-phase thing because now Jeff is in the clown nose position because he came in last. He gets to honk the horn, the blue nips, and we are giving away the Nano Sport. And to be honest with you, like always, I didn't pick the winner yet, so I'm going to do that while these two probably talk about something, or you're going to watch me click quietly and awkwardly, but that will happen, let's say at 5:45, we're going to announce the winner. And then immediately following giving away something for free, we're going to give something away for free because we're just like the home shopping network that you don't have to shop at. You're going to get free ProLine stuff today, and I'm not telling you what because I'm going to let you pick your body and tire combo you want instead of me telling you you're going to body and tire something you don't have. Great.
Yeah.
Thanks,
8-scale tires from my 2-wheel drive buggy.
Your Mini Z. And then so we're going to give those away, and it's the same thing we always do because I'm the smartest, and I only give away 1 issue, but you can get 3 for free if you do that on our website. You are going to go and enter at the link I'm providing. All you do have to do is get something for free to enter something for free. So do that, and you're entered to win every show. I go on there and I pick an email address that I like or random numbers for your transaction that ring a bell to me, and you win. And I just told you how to enter there, Gerardo. But thank you. I wasn't reading comments. I just looked over. So that's what we're doing today. And
hey, I have something to say.
You have something to say while I find the winner because that's very important.
Yeah, no, well, it's not going to take me that long, so you'd have to be quick.
Call filibuster. Can you do something like that?
Yeah, well, I probably could. I still whoever won the Triple X main prizes from like 2 months ago.
By the way, I'm gonna. No surprise that Jeff didn't send shit out. Well,
I haven't even contacted them. Well, one of them, like I said, I know the guy, but yeah. So I'll handle that this week. For I don't even remember the names. I have them here somewhere, but we'll. Did Pete just leave too?
No, I gotta plug my computer in. I forgot to do that.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. All right.
Hey, we got some weird guy hacking in here. How the hell did he do that?
What do you mean we got some weird guy hacking?
Oh, I know what I did. It's like I entered him into the porn room.
What?
I put the invite link up there instead of the enter the win. So
You put the invite link to the top to this.
So you guys can annoy the shit out of me by going bloop, but you're not getting in today. Let me.
Oh, that's amazing. Let everyone in.
How the hell did this guy get in here?
Let him in. Let's go. Whoever gets in, they can choose the topic.
Yeah. You got to be interesting or be a chick.
Dude, you're the least prepared person that I know.
Well, how prepared are you?
Well, I'm the second least prepared. Right.
Or first.
Was that my buddy Rob who was trying to get in? Was it Rob Wheeler who was trying to get in?
Yeah.
Let him in. He's awesome.
He's a smart Canadian. Can you guys talk about something while I try to find this stupid...
Most Canadians are smart. We're a...
You're a proud group.
Yeah, we'll put a topic up. Me and Pete talk all the time. We're not just going to...
Well, let's save the topics for Derek. I'll say that I was at Dollar Tree today, and you can get a lot of RC stuff at Dollar Tree. So, Jeff, do you have any favorite Dollar Tree? Well, what's Canadian Dollar Tree?
No, I believe we have Dollar Trees as well, but we have Dollarama. We have a number of names of dollar stores, I believe.
All right. So, what do you get for RC at Dollar Tree?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know that I do get things for RC there. I do go there. But I can't think of anything offhand that I use for my RC. I would never buy tools there. I mean, I don't know.
I get these.
I can't.
There. You can see that.
Oh yeah, okay. No, I never buy those, but that would be handy. Sure, right.
And I got some nitrile gloves because, like you want you're painting a body, you don't want to paint your fingers, so you'll wear gloves, or maybe you'll put the poly bag from the body over your hand.
Sure, yeah.
Now you're throwing away gloves every time. So I got some nitrile gloves for $1, which I can wear like maybe 10 times and then throw them away, and that's better.
Sure. What are you calling them? Nitro gloves?
Nitrile. Nitrile.
Oh, nitrile. Right.
This is in the makeup section. It's for holding bottles of nail polish and stuff, but it's great.
Oh yeah, no, I could. Yeah, this actually seems pretty cool. Right. All right. Hey, yeah. RC Masked Master said you can delete the link. You have the power, I believe, Derek, to.
I cannot delete the link in the stream. So,
microfiber towels.
Everyone join in. Oh, towel. Yeah. Oh, that would be a good one, right? Because I go through rags like mad, and I also still work on a towel. My pit table is a towel. Derek hates when I do imaging with a magazine on it, but
he used to do intros with a dirty white.
No, I don't. But I can still appreciate that it's effective at the tracker and at home in the pits. But not
how many guys do you see that use a pit mat, like a real pit mat, not just a towel?
Almost everyone does these days. I'd say almost everyone. I very rarely see someone just right on the raw table. Working on the raw table is terrible.
Is there a pit mat a towel with an RC logo, or like a rubber cool thing?
The majority of the people that I see have the proper pit mat.
I got the real news down in the corner. I always forget the direction. Down there.
Yeah.
On my screen, I don't know if it's on theirs, but the link to actually enter to win next week's ProLine prize pack is now live, not to join in our session. Although I did think about asking people watching join in, but then I don't know, it's going to get weird. So we'll keep David Cullen knows that I drink, so he's recommended I get my red Solo cups from the dollar store. So that's good advice, I would imagine. And you can probably store parts as well here.
Yeah, I get my fart stuff at Dollar Tree as well.
Yeah. We went through that. It's a good idea. I want to try that and see if it works as well as the hoodie.
Aren't you always looking for tips? Do you want me to send you some tips for for VRC?
Who wants tips?
Don't you do the tips section for VRC?
Yeah, he didn't do it this month, by the way. So if you're wondering where your freaking tips section went in issue 40. It's not there.
I'll write them then. I'll write them tomorrow. I thought you wrote them.
The issue's done. Thanks for waiting until.
Well, not until I proof it. It's not. But yeah, right.
Well, yeah, I don't want to wait for that either.
So there'll be lots of errors too.
Hey, as we said, I'd rather be out than not out.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. All right, enough of this crap. It's 10 minutes and we haven't talked about anything.
Just in Jeff's defense, as a guy who has come up with literally hundreds of pit tips,
Well, it's
it was
brutal.
a ball buster every month to do that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell the story of my first pit tip because it was published in RC Car Action.
Yeah, well, that doesn't mean much. They said use Crisco if you run out of diff lube.
It might have been me
You wrote the
because
Crisco one?
no. I did it as a joke because George Gonzalez was in charge of it, right? That's the last name. So the G-Man was in charge of tips, and it always asked, if you got a tip, you got to send it in. I don't think it was a letter. I mean, it must have been an email. I sent something in. As a joke, I put, hey, if you don't have shock oil, you can always use salad dressing for shock oil. And that was in the magazine.
Actually, that story is not quite true. I believe you said it to George, but I don't think it was ever used as a pit tip because what happened? Because Doug Mertez, the RC doctor, remember him?
Mm-hmm.
He did an article about shocks, and as a goof within the article, he's like, "Yeah, so I tried filling my shocks with, mustard and ketchup and stuff, and that became a thing forever. Like, RC Action says put ketchup in your shocks."
Yeah. No, they did it. They did it with shock oil too.
No, I remember
But they did say
Frank,
Crisco once. That I took a picture of it.
It was Frank Massey was there because that's why I did it because I was messing
Frank
with
was at Car Action.
But Doug did say to put salad dressing. He said he tried salad dressing in the shocks, but the little spicy bits would get stuck in the piston holes.
it. Yeah,
Sure, variable damping.
Gotta use
It was never
vinaigrette.
a serious tip.
You got to go for the classic vinaigrette.
Yeah.
Nothing with spices. Yes, Frank Massey was at. That's how I started at Car Action. Frank raced at my track.
I didn't know Frank was at Car. I forgot Frank was at Car.
Doogie.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Anyway, we're now 11:46, and we got to talk about something.
Look, do you see the thing right below my face? Babble. If
Yeah.
we had structure, it would be RC structure. RC. We got a plan.
I'm going to come out with a competing show called RC Structure.
But there may be people watching right now who are saying, "Yeah, but could it be entertaining?" So
Yeah. Right.
I didn't put that in there either, to be honest. If you're not entertained, I don't like you either.
Jeez.
It's okay. We'll go into a topic. Everybody calm down here. Everybody take a drink. Just relax.
Yes. I can do that.
Just, move some stuff around. Every time we make a legitimate point or something, everybody watching has to drink. So
You have the blue ball is blocking my. Oh, there we go. My camo body.
Are we talking about Associated this show or Proline?
like 50-50, but I'll change it. We're changing it. Let's do that.
What happened with Deacon? What happened with Jim? He's not coming on.
He's dragging his feet. I think he's scared. Jim, if you're
Nothing to be
scared,
scared
it's okay. We'll hold your hand.
We'll coddle him. Coddle.
Okay.
Coddle. What's the word?
Come home. No, he's a busy guy. So he's busy, and he doesn't have 30 minutes. It's like you. It's like once we get him on here, he'll drink.
Are you talking about me?
Am I?
Yeah, because it's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason I didn't write any articles this issue is because you make me do this freaking show.
Yeah, I know. This is the amount of work you got an hour work a week.
Limited how much
Dumb and dumber.
Yeah.
Hey, there's no jobs unless you want to work 40 hours a week, 5 days a week.
That's
I'm
stupid.
looking forward to having Jim on so that when Jim is explaining the intricacies of sourcing like hundreds of components for this complex electronic device to manufacture and distribute within the United States, and he's talking about all these details, and Jeff is going to be like, "Yeah, when I was making the camo masks."
Yes, I have a very similar product, like line of.
A lot of blob shapes. I would like to see the sketches before. That could be a whole show. Is your sketchbook of camo?
Listen, I've said this before. Again, I'm happy to talk about the camo mask. I've said this before. It seems like it would when I sat down and said, "Why don't I have a camo mask?"
By the way, both Pete and I will draw a camo mask for next week, and we'll see what we can come up with.
Yeah,
All
do
right?
it. Yeah, but no, but it's not just drawing a camo mask. It has to be customer usable. It has to be something that they can put on the body and make it look good in the end. Do you do the clusters all together? Do you do
Can you get your freaking body behind you now? Because now we get to make fun of you. Bring that shit up front.
Yeah, listen, there's some complexities to this. Look, see how I have overlapping blobs? Do you make them so that you put a blob on top of a blob? But when you remove a mask on top of another mask, you have a better chance of lifting the bottom mask. And this is also a mask you have to put on in individual pieces. You can't just take a whole 8.5 by 11 and stick it on in one shot. Listen, there's more to it than you think. I can get into more details, but Sometimes
Very
the simple
technical
thing-
description of camo. Should I put a little blue dot over here? Okay, that's Bob Ross.
no, again, it seems simple, and it listen. In the end, it was. There was a few major thoughts that had to go into it on how best to execute. It wasn't as easy as I thought on that.
How many years?
Well, no, right.
You want to bust out? There it is. There's your topic. Should we talk about this?
All right, this was my. I'll explain I make the stupid things at the bottom. That's what I do. I'm a stupid maker. I think 10th scale should be bigger.
Yeah, I don't even understand the topic. I don't even know why. I didn't know this was a conversation. I don't even know what this is. I'll have very little input on this one. I don't get this.
Some 10th scale is huge, like short course trucks. But you're saying like 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive buggies are too small?
I'm saying, first of all, I don't think 10th scale isn't based on anything. You can't say it's the tires 10 times bigger, the engine, okay, great.
Yeah, because the real one doesn't exist, right? Of course.
Well, it did at some point. Those buggies actually did exist in the day of Mickey Thompson or whatever it was the series before that. They had the Grasshopper was part of the series, right?
Yeah, sure. Right.
You know that? Yeah. And so, but over time, things get bigger, right? I mean, we live in America and our cars are big. If you don't live in America, you got tiny little stupid cars that never got bigger. So your car scale didn't change. You just didn't get a good car. You got a small one with a crappy engine. So same thing here. Over time, our tracks have gotten bigger and everything's gotten bigger, better, faster, all that crap. And at the 10th scale, we've reverted back to the buggy, the smallest of the actual race cars that we race off-road, except for your Mini Z off-road.
It still seems redundant, though. It still seems redundant because there are bigger classes. And what about the smaller indoor tracks? Now you got these jumbo 10 scale cars that can't get around the small track. You're on a big track, get the bigger car, get the 8 scale car.
Jumbo is not the relative. I'm not saying make it a giant car of its,
No, right. I'm taking an extreme
example.
I think
the ideal size, because short course, for example, is technically big only because it's a body, because it's the same size as a 10 scale truck, right? I mean, I think it's maybe a little bit longer.
It's a little longer. Yeah.
It's a lot longer.
Not much.
It's longer than the wheelbase.
But it looks big because of the body, right? So that race is indoor, no problem. And it's a little bit, in the beginning, it was probably more user-friendly because of its bigger tires and
it's got the wheels are covered with the body, so you don't get tangled up. You can rub and not crash often.
So I think some of these smaller classes, and at the time, there's a segue into the next topic, but the car you didn't know about, the J Concepts created a conversion for
I don't remember that. Yeah.
Stadium trucks that made it a big buggy. So I have a picture, and I realize it's not that great of a resolution, but to let everybody see what I'm talking about, this low-res cell phone picture from a flip phone is an actual RC10T or whatever, T3 or 4, whatever was out at the time. They did a conversion where they made skinnier front tires and a buggy body, which I assume is longer, to make it a giant buggy. And by giant, I mean the size of a truck. And they released this, and I think when I was looking at this picture, it was like 2010. So it's 10 years old. At the time, A-scale nitro was everything. There were very few electric off-road tracks. It was all A-scale off-road. That's what everybody had a boner for. And while there was some racing, calm down, everybody that races forever with your small cars. This one came out, and you could drive it on an A-scale track. Actually, where I tested it was at Revelation. And I thought it was great because you had these bigger tires. It was easier to drive. You can go faster. You can go over bigger bumps. It wasn't as delicate. It still had the buggy proportion, and I thought it was great. And then they died. The end.
And today we have much more powerful batteries and motors to move the thing around also. So
we had the batteries moved around 10 scale stadium trucks at the time as well. So that's not, your point is true, but
now you don't have to work the stuff as hard.
Right, sure.
Certainly not enough motor and batteries would not be a reason to not do it.
Yeah. Well, then you have the argument of that's just we need another class. Like, are you talking about replacing all 1/10 scale with these bigger ones or just adding another option? Because again, if you're on a big outdoor track, don't buy a 10 scale buggy, buy an 8 scale buggy.
I think if
buy a short course or buy any number of options that you have for the bigger track.
If Roar and Ifmar said in 2 years, or whatever interval manufacturers need. We're going to change to this where the car is going to be a full inch wider and a full 2 inches longer. But you got 2 years to make a car for it. It won't start
that would be
then,
terrible.
and that'll be the class. I don't think anyone would care. I don't think anyone would complain like this.
The manufacturers would care.
No, they've got time just to when they tool up their next car, which they're going to do anyways.
Look, we're racing. I agree with Pete, and I thought about this. Have the rules stunted any sort of development of kits and classes? And I would say at this point, yes, because your 1/10 scale off-road car is still based off an RC10 or original RC10.
Well, no, dimensions have changed slightly over the years, but give me an example. What technological advancement, other than the things that we've already discussed that some like and some don't like, gyros and things like that, but what technological advancement has been?
There's plenty of examples. There's always been. So the thing that actually is most common that has happened the most would be wheel size. How many times have we showed up to a race that the rim size was like controversial? Oh, the bigger, when we went to the bigger size.
Only twice. In '89 when the 2.2 rim came out, when you
there was another one with the inner lip that wasn't.
Yeah, that's right. But that was an illegal tire and rim, which I'm very against, because what some manufacturers started doing at times because listen, we all know there's two sets of rules. There's the raw rules that many serious tracks will apply, and of course the nationals and the worlds will use, but most tracks don't. So companies can make cheater products that your local club race would allow, and they wouldn't be following the rules, but nobody cares anyways, and it would have a slight advantage, that slightly bigger off-road rim. But it's terrible for I think it's terrible for the hobby and the industry in general. Hobby shops hate it. You got to carry twice the rims and rubber. I mean, again, if it is better, you're just forcing everyone to buy this bigger one. And then all your old tires, all your old rims that people read. There's a number of components that are.
Can I say something about you forcing people to buy stuff? We're in a consumer hobby. We come out with stuff every day for someone to buy something.
No, I know, but I talked through this in a past show, probably even more than once. My argument is, listen, a good friend of mine just started racing. Well, whatever, a few months ago, started racing at a new carpet off-road track, and he's pretty hardcore and gets very excited and buys all the bells and whistles and goodies. And he got all excited. And this particular track, a tire warmer would be of benefit. The tires don't. A cold tire does not work on this track, so everyone has to drive a few laps and get the heat in. So he bought a tire warmer, and was a little frustrated because after the fact, the track organizer said no tire warmers allowed, and I agree with that rule, because if one guy buys one, then everyone has to buy one, and everyone just spent $100 for no change in any of the order or any of the performance or anything. If everyone has shitty traction for 3 laps, and then the tires heat up and get grip, or if everyone has a tire warmer and has grip right from the beginning, their end result will be the same, but everyone spent that money
for no. Put them under a heat lamp. You couldn't have a heat lamp.
Let's not introduce variables. I think what I'm saying is
yeah, that's racing though. That's what happens.
But it's not racing.
An advantage.
If something is, I mean, there's a thin line, of course, with this conversation, because you don't want to slow down all development because you don't want one guy to buy it, then everyone has to buy it. And I can appreciate that argument. But if something is just so blatantly, if one guy owns it, everyone has to because it's such an advantage, I can totally appreciate not. Well,
we went to high voltage lipos that were a huge advantage.
No, it's not. No, first of all, HV, depending on the class,
a huge advantage.
It's not a huge advantage. I never switched to HV in the classes I ran. I already have way too much power in everything that I've ever.
But you run modified. You don't.
That's what I'm saying. It depends on the class.
You have a different argument. In stock racing, the most popular class, that was 0.2 volts a cell. That was huge. Yeah.
Okay, so we can have that conversation. So that's not the best example in this case, because that's not something that everyone has to buy.
Well, it's not the example to prove your point.
No, I'm saying in the stock class, yes, if you get 0.2 volts, that obviously everyone has to buy that. But in the other 60 or 70% of RC racing, HV was not a necessity. Sure, it's nice. And that's also, as Pete argued when we talked about lithium, that development didn't come from RC. Those cells are being developed in many other industries in this world, and we just adopt them. So, but if something is such an advantage that everyone will spend that money and end up in exactly the same order as they did before, but they all have lighter wallets, then I generally am against a rule like that. Now, listen, I'm huge into innovation. I love all the new gadgets, but I require a more depth to the innovation than just. Listen, the tire warmer example was sound, I think.
So I'm going to ask you this question, because every time we bring up some innovation that costs money, you're just saying I'm against it because it requires someone to spend money. Stop.
So I don't agree with that.
And what is an innovation that you'd be okay with?
I gave an example when I did this. Yeah, when I did this try before, when we were all running rear motors in carpet in like 2010 or whatever, when carpet was first getting big, at least in North America or Canada, maybe however you want to word it, we were all running like the RB6 and the was it B4? I guess B4 vehicles like that were all rear motor. And then when the 22 came out, I know Schumacher had a mid motor as well, but when a more mainstream North American company came out with the 22, it was a huge advantage. And all the guys that had 22s were kicking all the rear motors' asses. Much weaker drivers were kicking all the rear motors' asses. And then eventually, soon enough, everyone had the mid motor and we were all in the same order again. That is the type of innovation I support. Mid motor is better in.
You had to buy all new cars. I don't understand.
Yes, but it was a step forward that really helped with the new class that was gaining popularity, the high grip class, where keeping the front end down is tough, keep getting steering is tough. And again, that sort of innovation I embrace fully. But that same conversation of a tire warmer that doesn't advance the racing, the class or the new situation we're in any further, I don't agree with it. And again, I've already said it. It is a fine line. But I can, if you give me any example, I'll tell you what my opinion is on whether I agree with that. Well, tire sauce. Did you ask? Do they allow tire sauce?
Your track that was crying about tire warmers.
I don't race there. No, I believe no tire additives are allowed at all. This is a story.
But they don't test the smell of your tires to see if you treated them before you showed up.
No, and listen, that's another good topic for the future about rules at the local level. It's very hard to impose rules.
Put your tires under a heat lamp.
Okay. If we're going to have a conversation,
have traction.
Yeah, okay. But if the conversation is how you
can cheat like a bird,
I'm not interested in that conversation. But yeah, right. How you make sure people follow the rules is a difficulty, especially
move out of Canada. It's warmer, and you don't have to warm your tires.
Yeah, and where am I going to go? I'm going to come to your country.
You can go to Mexico. Where do you want to go? No, somewhere warmer. They don't need tire warmers. They need tire coolers.
Stay right here.
Stay
right where I am.
The greatest country, America's hat.
I joke. You live in a great country as well, obviously, but no, I love Canada.
Do you eat pancakes or crepes?
I don't eat either, but I have eaten both in my life. Isn't crepe just a really thin pancake?
Tasty little thin pancake? Yeah, we want to do nice with me.
All right, what are we doing here?
We're talking about 10 skill.
Is that still what we're talking about?
It's time to give away the car. I missed it. So I'm going to change the banner back. Although today we're sponsored by Proline because they're giving away not the tires exactly. Today we're giving a Proline prize pack away, which means you get to pick what you want, not what I tell you.
So what is it? You get to pick a full set of tires, 4 tires?
Tires and a body, yeah. Full set.
Oh, and a body. Oh, wow. Oh,
yeah.
Good.
Maybe if you're nice to me, I'll throw in something else that I can think of. You know what I mean? Like a Proline face shield, because now we have to have one to live.
That's right. And a lot of the RC manufacturers, Calander did that as well. Proline was doing that. Yeah, I thought that was kind of neat.
Or something else. They may give you something special if you're nice, or we use tweet Proline or whatever you do to promote them these days.
So Pete, off topic, or are you doing the prize right now?
Yes. So today we are giving away Team Associated Nano Sport, because I think I keep saying Nano Sport for the grandma. You get exactly what you see in that picture. You get a blue nose, a hockey puck, and 2 little RC cars with controllers, and I assume it comes with batteries. Yes.
I would imagine so.
So you win that, and the winner is. I went off the page.
That was the first F-bomb of the show.
I went off the page. I had it all set up on a page saved, and let's see if I can go back. All right, you can go off topic while I go back and find this stupid.
No, it was funny because Pete, who runs our social media and does a phenomenal job, posted those HPI bear rims the other day, and I was surprised. Everyone jumped on it and started attacking them. I actually have a set of those HPI ones, brand new. I'm saving. I'm hoping they're going to be the MIP 410 4-wheel drive conversion
package. A pair of plastic bear rims, great.
Well, I think they will be one of those the vintage things that are wanted the most. Like, listen, the RC10 four-wheel drive conversion from MIP was junk compared to the other four-wheel drive cars. It was brittle and broken. It was terrible. It wasn't a very good car. So I would imagine not many were sold, which is why they're so rare now, which is why they're so difficult to get and everyone wants them. I'm hoping that those Bear rims are going to, I mean, obviously they're not going to follow the.
I remember Paul.
I'm pretty sure they made like 1 million of those stupid rims.
Well, we don't. Yeah, right. Maybe
we all, or most of us, anyways. If you have a hobby store that caters to racers, that has a big racing clientele, regularly every couple of years, there's a big bin just full of stuff they're trying to get rid of for pennies on the dollar. Graphite upper decks for a 2-year-old car, all that stuff, and all that stuff is so collectible now. And that definitely had Bear rims in it. It definitely had hot trick parts for the Turbo Ultima, and that was like junk. Get rid of this crap. And now eBay,
right. But if it's junk, there's less of them made and it's more rare. Yeah, it's good.
You know what flashing means, right? It's the winter time.
Joe's right. Yeah, go. Yeah,
he's never exactly. He's only down to washing the two parts. That was his whole article.
Joe offered to paint my body for it as well. He got very excited when I started working.
I already announced the winner. It's in the comments. Lawrence Baker. I have no idea where you live. I have no idea other than your name. So if you're Lawrence Baker, and here, you're the wiener of the Nano Sport pack. Are you here? Anyone? Lawrence? Scream. I'll let you join. I'll send the link. You could join. Too late. So we're back to Proline. Now to enter to win the Proline prize pack that we just babbled about, you're gonna follow the link.
Join our chat. You're going to join our chat. That's how you win the Proline.
No, I don't want that.
Download an issue.
Yeah, go download the free issue, and then you'll be entered to win. And then next week when we come and babble about nothing, about 40 minutes in after we didn't say anything, I'll remember and flash the Proline thing like I did, and you will be the winner as well. So all you have to do really is download the one. But remember, just subscribe to the magazine. Like I said, if you want me to like you,
I don't know. Do people want you to like them?
If you hate me the most, subscribe.
Well, that's harsh too. Maybe in the middle.
$9.99.
It's $10. You instantly get 40 issues, and you don't wait 4 to 6 weeks for anything.
Unless you win a XXX main prize pack.
Yeah, or I've been waiting a few years for some new stickers. So
yeah, and Pete's giving me a list too, and I really need to get you guys your stuff. But
I would like to give away, I can give away XXX main and Velocity stickers, but I'd like to give away stickers a lot on social media. Once I get them, so I can put them in the mailbox. Once I award them to people, we'll start doing a lot of that.
Yeah, I will. This week, I promise.
I'll award you the AI file, and you can scale the logo to your own liking.
So I can print them on my inkjet.
Yeah, and then you can use some sort of picture glue that we wouldn't know where it was from.
You could buy my picture glue. Brilliant. Good. Very good.
Nobody knows where it's from. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't. Right. There might be a shortage of it right now, so maybe people shouldn't order it anyways.
Yeah.
Adam's right. Derek is 100%
shortage.
Yeah, picture glue seems like a lot of work. We need picture tape.
They made that, I think, actually. You had that, didn't you?
I developed it in full, and then Great Plains went out of business, and it was going to be a very expensive release for me, so I stopped it. But I may, now that I have some very strong distribution again, I may introduce. Yeah, in fact, I sent Joe, the gentleman who offered to paint my 410 body. I sent him an old Proline body he was trying to source that I was testing on with that picture tape, and he was not happy. What's that?
Sounds like a really good product.
Making a joke, but
it was a good product. It is a good product. I believe he wasn't happy because it was so sticky. I think he told me he spent like hours and hours because it had all these magazine images taped inside their one main, I don't know, whatever it was, and he had to clean it. It was a clear body that I was testing on. He wanted the body, and he had to clean it, and I think it turned out to be a big task. So interesting you asked that, Pete. That was maybe a joke you were making about tape, but yeah, that is actually could be a thing.
And picture glue is not a lot of work, but it was essential for the joke that I say it was. But
no, it's right. And also, listen, I don't want to get into a whole bunch of the business, but the tape would be somewhat cannibalistic of the glue because I'd be competing with myself. But it would be nice for people who are
talking about.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, but yeah, I think people would enjoy the choice because some people are afraid of glue and the tape.
It's a phobia.
Yeah, well, I've always argued that's one of the big benefits of RC in general is, if you're looking at a plastic model or RC, if you're a glue type guy, obviously the plastic model is fine. I'm afraid of glue sometimes because it's so permanent. I like RC cars; you could screw it together. If you do something wrong, you unscrew it and you start again. So
super scared of glue.
Well, I'm not scared of glue, but right.
Here's a quick tape question we can talk about. Would you like it if there was a standard, like there's for servos, for what the footprint of a speed control would be? So you never taped in a speed control again. You just lined it up on the positions on the chassis.
But it'll never happen. Sure, everyone would love that, but it'll never happen.
Just the screw on the bottom.
I didn't say it would happen. Just that'd be great.
Well, sure, yeah. Yeah. Well, you can broaden the question. Would you prefer any form of consistency in this hobby with wheel hexes 12 and 14, and with connectors there's 83 of them, and with receiver plugs, and you could go on and on. But yeah, this hobby would do better, I think.
You know what I would love for electric RC is no connectors. It just slides in like a computer battery, and everyone has the same standard. The pins are this big, there's space this much.
Yeah. I don't know that would work with the high currents, because often I think those things have other problems with moving and the connection not being as strong.
Kinwald had a enduro car that was like that.
Well, yeah, no, there was a whole bunch of.
Somebody made an enduro car with the tabs and you slide it in.
Yeah,
springs.
It's just surface area. If you have a big enough tab going into a big enough, I mean, it'd be the same tabs that are currently in the connector you're using. So
not all tabs are the same size.
Yes, Pete. No, your argument is sound. Yeah,
but it would never happen. And it just.
Well, you know when it would happen. The other conversation we had about this, when there was a need or a class that required quick change batteries, where you're changing the battery just like fueling a nitro car, then that technology you're talking about would develop in an instant, and could be used even if you're not doing endurance type races. So yeah, if there was a reason to do it, I'm sure it would come to fruition quite rapidly.
The other component is you would have to physically wire the speed control into the chassis, which is another level of complexity. So you would gain some simplicity in putting the battery in, but now you're putting that complexity into a different aspect of the car. So,
everybody just heard me burp on there. We always have to solder something.
I have not soldered in so long, and I do not miss it.
Soldering is great. I mean, I'm glad we're not soldering our sub-C cells and hardwiring them into this.
Yeah, that was hard. But I miss actually being able to do it well, because now when I solder, I'm like, I don't know how to solder anymore, and I feel like an idiot. Burn my fingers, it doesn't solder well. I feel like it melted the speed control.
Yeah. You want to find out how poor of a solder. I consider myself a very good solderer, but at the shop sometimes we have to solder like those 8-gauge. Some guy comes in with some monster system where you have to solder up like an 8-gauge connector setup, and like, man, those big wires and big connectors are brutal to get enough heat into them.
The last thing I soldered was a Hobbyco's, they call it a star connector. It's their version of a Dean's plug with a little.
Yeah, it's a Dean's. They're Dean's, the gray one. Yeah.
I was putting that on the Tamiya Comical Avante. When I took out my soldering iron in the closet, I was like, that went everywhere, That special thing is so long. But I mean, in the days of assembling race kits, like that was, I would get into it. Like, that'd be like a Zen thing to like, you just snap the wire and it wicks in, and you have a nice shiny point, and you're like, nailed it.
It's a rite of passage in the hobby. Even in this day and age where soldering is a lot less needed. Well, I mean, it's needed because you often have to change a connector. But again, we're not soldering sub-C cells together or hardwiring it in. The brushless motor stays in your car for weeks or months, so you're not soldering that. But it's still a rite of passage. Listen, if you want to apply some of Derek's anger, if you can't solder, then you shouldn't be in this hobby.
I remember going to a race, and someone was showing Tyree Phillips their car that they had done like a 3-wire installation, because this is back in the NiCad and nickel metal hydride days.
Yeah, 3-wire was big.
3-wire, where the speed control is just in a loop with the battery. It's not, 2 wires for the motor and 2 for the battery. It's just 3.
It was just one positive. The one positive had to do the motor and the battery. Yeah.
Like, check out my car, and Tyree was like, "You made the positive wire longer than the negative. That's extra resistance. Get out!" The poor guy was just shattered.
All the old ambassadors that were so happy to be at the track.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm impressed by neat wiring because I suck at
it. That wasn't you. I apologize.
I thought it was neat when I, wrapped the servo wire around a screwdriver to make it look neater.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Still a great trick. Yeah, the best.
Yeah. But I'm not really great at soldering things, and even though I have a nice soldering iron. And Pete posted a picture of that stupid soldering iron stock photography where everybody's holding it like a pencil.
That was awesome.
I'm going to be honest with you. When I was a kid, I burnt myself like that several times.
Oh, the shit that I did! I can't believe I had my eyes with.
Yeah.
When I was young, my dad gave me a soldering iron when I was young, and man, I
Stuck it in your eyes.
Well, no, there was. I remember one time. You know how force in soldering is like the number one rule is never use force. Like if you need to use force, then you're doing it wrong. Man, I was trying to pull off like a big chunk of braid off of a sub C cell and had probably a 20-watt iron with a pencil tip, and I was pulling, and that thing splattered, and the solder like hit my face. Already somewhat solidified. I guess it cooled enough in the air, but man, that could have taken a very different direction at the time.
I've been at the track where people glued their eyes shut, and that's real.
Yeah, that's different than solder, dude. You
real
can get
racers,
yeah.
I once glued my finger and thumb together, and I grabbed what I thought was the debonder, but was actually the CA again.
That's amazing.
And he was drinking Coke Zero.
So hot.
That's right. He doesn't even drink. Yeah, what's going on? I mean, me and Derek do that too all the time, but we're hammered. So
Yeah.
So like 3 full days, everything was okay. Just.
All right, I got our next topic up.
I didn't even see this. I like it better when I don't see it, but this wasn't on your list of
Surprise!
topics.
It's been up there for like 2 or 3 minutes. But this also leads in. I'm going to bring up this picture, right? So classes that failed that shouldn't. So I'm going to start with the blurry Bigfoot picture of the J82. I think.
Joe will like this. The Nitro RC10 GT converted to electric class. That failed, and it should not have.
Stupid as shit. So here's another low res. Apparently, I'm all low res on the toilet when I was getting all these ready, emailing them to myself. That is, anybody know what that is?
Four-wheel short course, I would imagine.
That's an SC8.
Oh, the 8th scale short course. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but four-wheel drive short course failed as well. So, I mean, that could.
Yeah, I'm just saying these are big. This one I didn't get a body picture, but do you know what that is?
It's a carbon.
10 scale. What is it?
That's the World GT pan
like
car.
The 10 scale pan. Yeah, isn't that still around? Or that's US GT now? Isn't US GT the same as World GT?
I mean, there are cars around, but it's not as popular as it should have been.
Joe's mad.
What, his stupid electric conversion was? Yeah, he wasn't on last.
Right
No, you weren't here last week.
I'm not going to paint my body anymore.
Oh God. So
was the J82 ever a class like where people?
No, but I honestly that should have been a class. So that would kind of started the J82. It sounds like a jet from the World War II, by the way.
Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about.
The stupid the buggy with truck tires on it.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know what's called a J82.
Technically wasn't a class. I was leading it. That was a transition because I actually think that would have been a great class.
Oh, okay. Adam says
it never was anything that came up, and it never, aside from maybe at a J Concept race when they had the race series, I don't think it ever materialized. I actually still think it's pretty cool, and it wouldn't be hard for any of the manufacturers to do. It's just a buggy body and different front tires. You know what I mean? Not a big deal.
You know what class I would like to see? And this is not really the topic, and I posted this on Facebook. I posted a photo chop of the latest J Concept cab forward buggy, but with the cab pushback.
Yeah, that actually looked kind of neat. Yeah.
And I said in the comments, I would love it if they made retro-looking bodies to fit the current race cars, or so you could, like, instead of selling your 2-year-old car, you make it look like an RC10, Jay Halsey car, and it'd just be a fun class to run. And they can make a hard tire that's specifically for that class, so it's not about going super fast. And that'd be a fun class to run and just bang around in with cars that look like your 80s favorites. I'd have fun with that.
So how I jumped from J82 to the SC8, which is a class that probably was before its time, because I don't know if you ever saw one or if you guys used one. It's an A-scale size short course, so you had the A-scale durability, had more scale because it was bigger, had a roll cage, mud flaps. It was nitro and electric, so at the time when there was actually people running nitro, you had the option of both, and it was just a more scale, and short course took off, and that one should have been like, oh, I'm not going to race A-scale electric buggy indoors. I'm going to race the short course, because then you're getting.
But the 10-scale short courses are many of them are very 8-scale-esque anyways. Like with
right, well, the 8-scale one isn't that much bigger. That's what I'm saying. It's better looking. I mean, that kit is still one of the better looking 8-scale kits with the body, and that was from the factory and never took off.
Well, before that Team Associated kit, Kyosho made 8-scale trucks for at least 2 or 3 iterations of different models.
Before the Inferno ST? You're talking about the Inferno ST?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. They used to race them too, like in Detroit at the Freedom Hill and some of the
but
big
those
races.
had ugly ass bodies. I mean,
Yeah, right.
the bigger difference is
the truck have an 8-scale buggy.
Right. The scale body is what made the SC8 really like,
That's the class. That's the class. Was it Megatech? I think it was Megatech. They made
the one with
engines.
the engine. Yeah, that they won $5,000 for running the stupid engine in it.
They put $15,000 up. I think it was $10,000 for an A main win at a nationals, and like $3,000 for a second or $2,000 for a third if you could place that at nationals. And Richard Saxon and Regan, who is a genius engine guy, and Saxon, who's obviously a genius driver and setup guy, and genius everything. At the Roar Nats in Missouri, they had that class that Pete was talking about, and they had it done up Megatech. And of course, not a lot of the fast guys were entering that class, and Saxon did, and won with a Megatech engine. And then Megatech was able to say that they won a Roar Nationals, and Saxon and Regan, however, they split their $10,000.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of a fun story.
It was a short, weird one, but yes.
It's not a short, weird one. It was they found out the rules and they used them in their favor to get $10,000.
I'm not mad at it. I'm just your story sucks.
Would you be mad? I'm mad. Screw you, Richard.
So the SC8 is one of the classes that I think should have been bigger, and then the World GT or whoever races that stuff wherever locally.
Adam cleared up my misconception on what the.
I don't know. I didn't know. I saw his comment. I don't know what the difference is. What all I'm talking about is a pan car with a touring scale body, something that looked real, not a wedge blob thing that didn't make it. You had no record.
See, I would change this whole question to classes that failed but shouldn't have. I'd change it to we need more classes to fail. I'm very against too many classes. I think a reduction in classes is. I know you make that face every time I say it, but I'm against too many classes.
You're against motor classes. You don't want 9 motor classes.
No, well, that too. Yeah, I'll agree with that. But no, I think there's too many classes.
What is so okay?
Mostly an on-road. It's an on-road argument. It's an
on-road anymore. Give me your list of only in Jeff's racing world. Mini Z is at the top apparently. What is the list of classes that only will exist in Jeff's? I don't care about people.
Okay, so if you're talking
let me finish my rant.
Yeah.
I only care about the A main, and everybody else who's in the C main is a baby class.
Yeah, I never said that.
You can't buy anything new because it costs you money, and it costs everybody to buy something new.
Synopsis of my thoughts, by the way.
Tell me what it is. Give me the list.
No, I've already said it all. I've said all this stuff in past shows. I used to like it back in the day.
We're in a recap show.
Yeah, that's fine. I used to like it back in the day when you showed up at the off-road track and all 60 people had a 2-wheel drive open buggy. And everyone raced 1 or 2 classes, and it went A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all and everyone, like, that was fun to me. Again, I gave I talked about that one of the local on-road races where literally there was 7 classes and 7 A mains. There's like 12 scale, there was touring car mod, there was touring car 13.5, there was USGT, there was Formula One, there was 7 or 8 guys in each A main. So they still had a full day of racing, a full packed track, but everyone was in their own class. I think there's too many classes. On road, it goes to the extreme. When I was doing the carpet off road, they had 2-wheel open and 4-wheel open. I think that's great. Simplicity is great. Everyone shows up with the same car and races against each other. I like that. If that makes me an elitist or an old school,
there's not as many off road vehicles. So on road, there is Formula One. There is IMSA GT.
Yeah,
there is,
and I'm not against Formula One
and all these things.
And you can't stop it. My diatribe won't stop any of this. It's just I would prefer if everyone races together.
What did you race?
Most recently?
No, when you had 7 A mains and 7 classes.
No, I said then and I'll say it now. I wasn't at the race. I like to look up results and see how everyone's doing. But what would I have raced if I was racing on road? I'm a 12 scale guy if I race on road. We can talk about motors with that and blinking.
All I want in my race class is for gyros to be legal and for the whole race to be run in reverse. That's all I'm looking for.
I'm with Pete on this one. I don't know.
Don't get me started on this. I will go on an angry rant.
I'm with gyros as long as the correction is reversed. Like if it would normally correct to the right, it corrected to the left. So you're having to overdrive all the time? That would be fun.
Here's the class that always fails and should never fail. And it comes in different shapes and sizes, but it's always called spec class, and it always fails. And
the spec is the stupidest thing.
People cheat, and they want the cars to go faster, which is the opposite of what spec class is for.
Yeah, spec is stupid. Spec is
No, it's not.
Okay, well, okay. I think we talked about this as well, but yeah. Spec turns into a money game because everyone's the same and you have to look for little tiny advantages. So the guy that puts a brand new set of spec tires on every week has an advantage. The guy that has multiple spec motors and tests them all to find one that's just marginally faster. The one that has new batteries all the time. Or spec racing forces you to buy the newest always, even though it's the same.
The problem with spec racing is that the racers the racers that do it never buy into the concept of it. They shouldn't even do the spec racing because
but you're not going to fix those people. So it's a problem. Yeah, I agree with you. You're right. But you can't fix that.
But there are people like me, I think, who are like, oh wait, there's this class where the rules make sure the car and equipment stays cheap. And they make sure that the car is not insanely adjustable.
But that's my exact point. It doesn't keep it cheap. If you want it cheap, you do open, because then it's never a money game. A 6.5 motor is the same price as a 13.5.
Yeah. Let me finish the thought. If everyone is like me and they're like, yeah, I know I could buy a new motor every Sunday, but I don't want to buy a new motor every Sunday because that's a lot of money. I'm just not going to do that. And we all think the same way. We're just going to keep running our motors because we just want to have fun racing. And it's not about I had to win and I could have won
a new motor. But not everyone's going to feel that way. There's a handful of people that are going to buy new motors every week and buy new tires every week.
Here's the problem, but that's not the class's problem. That's the racer's problem.
So it is the class's problem because that damages the class. The idea of spec is it's supposed to be.
It's not built into the class, though. It's not to say, hey, this is spec racing, and by the way, you should all buy a motor every week because the hobby store wants you. They're not doing it as a moneymaker, but there are plenty of people like I could race all year long. And Lord knows I haven't raced in years, but like I would love to be able to go to track. I race all year, and if I finish mid-pack constantly, there's a guy I beat sometimes, and there's another dude, and like it's mean. Like every weekend, I basically race 3 guys, even though there's 10 guys. That'd be fine with that. Like,
but you're not the problem. Yeah, that's fine. I agree with you.
There's not enough guys who are like I remember
spec racing.
I remember going to Snowbirds. Here's the essential spec class, Bowling Legends. So little you can do on that car. They actually sent every guy, not sent them home, but they just like classes canceled. Everyone is cheating. No one was following the rules at the nationals. Every Legends guy broke every rule in the book. And keep in mind, in Legends, the essential rule is if the rule book does not say you can do it, that means you can't do it.
Yeah. Well, you're summing up some of my argument very well here.
Well, you just need rules, and the thing is, and this goes to
you need less rules. That's the point.
I'm gonna bring in my reverse because this ties in perfectly again. The rules have to be in place and a penalty in place, right?
So no, you can't.
I'm not asking you to talk right now.
All right, go. You go.
You son of a bitch.
Finish it off. Go.
You always look at the other side of what the rule is. So you say if you have reverse, you're gonna back into the leader because you're an idiot. Okay, so you're in the A main and you're back in the leader. You're an idiot, of course. Yeah. So the rule is you can use reverse, but if you let me take that back. If you mess stuff up, you get penalized for it. You're gonna sit out.
You can't police the track.
Stop it.
And I'll give you an anecdote. I'll give you an anecdotal story. I was at the Roar Nats.
Happy Canada. You can't police anything. I forgot.
I think you might have been at this Roar Nats with me, or maybe not. This is the North Carolina track that you and I went to the Worlds at. 2 years previously, I went to the. I guess it was the Nationals. Anyways, it doesn't matter. It was a big race, and they had a ref. I was in the control tower. I was media. I was in the control tower watching the race. Yeah, right. And I was there standing right behind the referee, and he was calling some things. He was calling what he saw, but there was other things happening that were breaking the rules, cutting the track that he didn't see. You can't see it all. The number of people you would have to employ to make sure you're policing all these rules accurately, it's impossible
at this point. It's not.
But you're not going to go when there's 400 entries. You're not going to go through videotape. So my argument is
when it matters, you do. What are you talking about? It's
because you're better to not have the rule. You're better to have less rules and not have to police it. You'll end up with a watch.
Okay, that's open, and I'll agree with you. But if you want a spec class to where it's competitive, slower racing, because spec, I mean, you can argue that modified is spec because you're using this stuff. It's all the same. It's an IROC series, all the same car, all the same equipment. It's a driver's test, not an equipment test. The rules have to be strictly enforced and penalties given. So I can fix your rules. you get 3 motors for a season. You have to run a season because otherwise it doesn't matter. Just like F1 has, you get 7 motors.
This is already too complicated.
It's not.
I'll tell you the one thing that could work that we have the technology and for some reason we haven't employed. With all this brushless crap and all the fancy computers that we now call speed controls, you could monitor and limit and control the shaft RPM and torque.
No, they've had that already. That's already been existed, and the problem is that you have to have faith that no one can hack the speed control.
Well, then I'd much rather have the policing done in tech than
of ramp up speed because you can limit it to 25,000 RPM.
But all that aside,
it's all different.
Put all that aside, where someone made an unhackable shaft RPM limiter that had that
speed control. Go back to the
right. Okay,
you can't fake that.
That's true. Anyway, that's something that you would get my wholehearted support in a spec class. But if your answer to spec racing is have a bunch of rules and police it, it's in my opinion, it's ineffective. And I've seen it firsthand. And I don't even have to have been standing behind that ref at the Roar Nast to tell you that this is not going to work. You can't watch a long race with 12 cars spread across a 300 foot by 300 foot track for class or for race after race and heat after heat and main after main. You can't police it all. It's not policeable. Tech policing is easier. What you're policing in a tech before and after race, a fuel tank volume or whether you're in blinky mode or all those things, that's easier to police. But once you're on the track driving, I mean, again, hacking, you could say like, if you hack a guy, you got to do a stop and go, but you're not going to see every hack. Every rule you add, referee or not, you can't keep an eye on all of it. You just can't.
Well, okay.
So if
I'll go back to in a real race, there's at max 15 people, and the top 4 matter. If you're in the lap down and taking someone out, you either black flag or take them out.
And I can agree with you on that point, but it still doesn't change my position. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you could police less. You could have some sort of a simple algorithm where you only police the ones necessary at the time. But even still, human error, which is the person who's going to be doing the policing. Listen, and in a few years when AI is better, and maybe we'll be able to have super accurate policing with 0 errors, then okay, then we'll have this conversation again. But if you're talking about getting a human brain to tell everyone to follow the rules, there's no example in this world where that's ever worked. Is the end of my spiel on that one.
Well, the simple thing for me, and I'm going to be Pete this episode.
And what, you're going to go on about how great Traxxas is?
The best spec racing that I ever did, and the most fun I had was with Stock Slash.
There we go, Traxxas. Yeah, there we go.
Well, it could have been anybody, and I have to say is that Slash was the one that made it happen.
And then Stock Slash was ruined as well because a 100C battery actually made a difference.
No. Well, it was more ruined with tires, but
all the above.
If you used a stock tire, most of the ready-to-run tires were the same garbage tires. It didn't matter if you put more power in it; it couldn't handle it. So therefore, it didn't really have an advantage. And as soon as tires came into play, and that's the number one thing in all forms of racing is tires. We can argue everything back and forth, but tires is the number one. It's the only thing that touches the ground.
But even if you leave it at one tire, a new tire is still better than an older tire. So this doesn't solve the problem.
It wasn't.
Well, then an older tire is better than a new tire, and a guy would wear down more tires.
Traction is key, and when you're talking about probably beginners and getting in, you don't want unlimited traction because then it creates I can go unlimited speed. And you can put more power down. Yeah, and you can have it limited to 20,000 RPM or 17,000 RPM. But if it can ramp up to that speed faster and faster and faster,
if you can control the max RPM, you control the curve as well. So that's again, if they just impose that technology, then a lot of these that wouldn't solve tire issues and other things, but at least the power end of it. I raced Spec Slash, and so did many of my friends. I'll tell you, one of my good friends got called a cheater. On carpet, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't matter. One of my good friends got called a cheater. He was not cheating, but here's a component. There was a double at the on a corner exit, which did not have a lot of run up, and really nobody was downsiding the double. You either cased it or you had single or whatever. My buddy was just barely landing the double every time, and he must be cheating. He's got more power than him.
I got to pause you for a second.
Yeah,
Larry Baker is here.
Is that Barry's brother?
It's the bizarro Barry Baker. No, he's the guy that won.
Oh.
He won the Nano Sports.
All right. Oh, there's Larry there. Okay, I won. Yeah, good for you.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, let me finish this thought.
You got the email that I picked, Larry. Email me from your email of how do I get my prize, and they will ship it to you direct from Team Associated. I hope it just didn't interrupt Jeff's dumb rant about
it is a dumb rant.
And Mini Z.
My only point is
carpet, stupidest thing ever.
Mini Z spec slash with only plastic tires.
Carpet.
My buddy had a higher C rating on his battery than everyone else, so he was able to get a little more power out of it when he handfulled it to clear the double. No matter what you try and limit, there's a little loophole that offers an advantage. Spec always ends up.
First of all, that's racing in general. We're never going to take that away.
No, it's not.
And now batteries today.
That never happens. It never happens.
Back in the day, I ran that was still NiCats. I ran a 7-cell NiCat against. Now you can get a LiPo that you're not going to feel the difference in a silver cam motor. I'm sorry.
No, you can.
No, not. I mean, if you bought
I don't know what silver can. I don't know if they draw enough amps.
Has nothing, but you can buy an 80C pack for $20 or $30, and I'm not advocating buying no name brand crap that doesn't support anything, but you still can.
Anyway, we can try and find specific. Overall, spec creates problems in a number of ways. If you want to limit it, there's a tire problem and there's a power problem, a motor and battery problem with spec racing. Those are two big things. That ruin spec racing. And I'm with Pete. Everyone's points are valid. Pete, everything Pete said, I agree with. Well, he's one of the guys that doesn't care. And again, Pete's not the problem, but there is always a handful of people that are.
See, RC master.
Yes, but the thing about a dictatorship is they are ruled with an iron fist, and you can't.
You have to have an iron fist. That's a rule.
Yeah, that's why it's a rule. Like I can agree with RC master.
You don't have a suggestion list. It's a book of suggestions.
His hobby would never work. Racing would never work as a dictatorship. That statement he's making is accurate, but it still doesn't solve the problems.
Here's the thing: spec class. Let's say you got 10 guys on the track, and it's a spec class. All 10 guys on the straightaway, exact same speed. But of course, the better driver wins. He's using the best lines, all that stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Ideally, all 10 drivers at the end of that race say like, "That was a blast. I need to work on my driving."
You're talking about
I need to find out how to get a faster straightaway speed. That's the problem.
You're right. Again, you're right. But you're giving an example of what a smart person would say about the situation.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If everyone were to follow the rules and do spec the way it was supposed to be done, it would be great. But this just didn't.
Yeah, that's all.
Nobody does. It's not how it works.
I
can give you all kinds of stories about it. If everyone just didn't do illegal drugs, we wouldn't have a drug problem. If everyone,
I've done spec slash, and it's like, how is this guy like? It's not like his motor he's got more runs, his motor's broken in more. That's why he can just barely make the double, whereas I case it by an interior time. It's like this guy is like a good third faster than me on the straight. How is that possible? And like it shouldn't be that way in a spec class. No one should have a giant advantage unless they're cheating.
No, it should. And that's I do sort of. Someone should not a giant advantage, but the idea of spec to me, if it was done right, which again it never has been, would be the guy that's going faster in the straightaway spent 2 hours blueprinting his transmission and making sure all the bearings, took all the grease out and put oil in and built a better car, and that's where he got his 2% advantage. That I'm okay with. I love that.
It should never be that much.
No, but that's what spec is supposed to be. It's supposed to be the best setup, the best builder, and the best driver. But it isn't that in a Cinderella world. That would be great. I would love that because listen, I'll build a better car than anyone. Well, not than anyone, but than most people.
If they said, hey, listen, this spec class, we don't even want you to do that, and that's why we have claiming rules.
And again,
if some guy's car is like way faster than yours on the straightaway, you can just claim his car. You have to get that guy to give you his car and that discourages people. Like, I spent.
And then again, to solve the problem of too many rules is to make more rules. Again, just racing.
I get it.
Yeah. If policing and adding more policing and then more policing and then more people to police and more techs and more rules, it's not going to work. It never has worked. This isn't a new concept in this hobby.
I'm like, I think everything's wide open, guys. Do whatever you want. We don't care, but you have to run this tire that's as hard as a rock. That's awesome.
That's what number one spec is tire, by the way. But yeah,
but that creates another problem as well because every tire has a best moment, and even a hard tire has a best moment, either brand new or broken into 10 minutes or broken into 30 minutes.
You got to race on drift tires. everyone's racing on drift.
But even a drift tire is going to have a best moment, and if someone has 30 sets and all of them are at that best moment, listen. Again, I'll fight every point you guys bring up on this. The spec doesn't work, and any rule you come up with, I'll tell you how it can be beaten. What is your hand motion there?
Well, yeah, that's why That's why Jeff races Mini Z. It's the most fair and competitive.
Here it is. Every Sunday you go to the track, you don't bring anything. They hand you a car and a radio, 2 batteries, and that's it.
Yeah, but we've all done that too. And then what happens when you get the crappy car? That's right. No, I mean, I've done that too. We've all been at the fair or at the flea market where they have that RC race track set up where you can go and rent a car and do a race. I got the shitty one. And yeah.
This is the best spec class, and I keep going.
See, I'm with Joe on this one.
I kind of want to do this, and someday I will in my life. It's the drunk Grand Prix where every lap you have to chug a beer to continue. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're too fast, you get drunk quicker, and that handicaps you. Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah. I'm totally game for that. Yeah.
Right, but do it in Formula One full scale.
Yeah. Well, you don't know they're not drinking during that.
Yeah, well, we kind of do, but right.
They got a camel pack.
Right. Do we have a topic that gets us out of racing?
It's been over an hour. We're going to do a new topic?
No. We're getting close to the end. You know why? Yeah.
I was at one time told that this was going to be one episode, and also I was at one time told this would be a 30-minute show.
First of all, the only person that said we're going to do a live show every Monday that thought it was one time was you, idiot. So
I'm pretty important in this. So yeah.
I was told by myself.
I was under the understanding that this was going to be one show.
I think this is a great opportunity for all the people who stayed with us this long. Let's hype next week's show, and I assume we're all on the same page with my awesome idea, because everyone listening can do the same thing we're going to do, which is look at every car made in the last 6 months, because next Monday is pretty much to the day 6 months into 2020. And we're going to discuss the best new products of 2020 so far. Unless you guys
is this what we're doing? We're actually doing this?
I'd like to do it. What do you guys think?
I'm fine with that. I already said that in the text message. So, yes.
Oh, you're going to claim that one?
Jeff didn't reply.
Yeah, because you guys are all like I won't put any ideas in other than this hour that.
Yeah, that's why I really appreciate your partnership. Is that you really want to know no ideas all the time? I don't have any ideas. I'll do my article after the issue's done. It's just a great partnership all around. It's like
you are lucky I'm here.
Yeah, whatever website or Facebook group or page you look at for the latest RC releases, scroll through it until you get to January, and just make note of what you think were the biggies for 2020.
Are you talking to us right now or the viewers?
Both.
No, all of them. I mean, but if I'm a viewer, well, cool. I'm going to look and see what I think. If they want to.
I can't even think of one released in the last 6 months.
You're a huge RC fan, huh, Jeff?
Yeah.
Well, I would just wait.
I used to write the new. What do we call it now? It used to be new.
It's called stuff because it's not new.
Stuff. Yeah, right. I used to write that section, so I would be on top of all the latest releases. I don't write that anymore. So
my favorite thing is this idiot released a camo mask, and he didn't even know that. He didn't even use his own example. I can't think of one release. Those are one time.
When I said that, I was thinking of vehicles because that's what Pete mentioned. But yeah, no, believe me, I'm on top of camo. I know, I'm well aware that was.
You didn't even have a camo hat.
Biggest release of I should order a camo hat. That's a good idea.
Yeah, and I'm going to tease everybody because their viewership's going up right now because they're really interested in Jeff. Next week, Jeff is going to wear the shorts that I keep making fun of him for wearing. Is the Oakley with the O right in his butthole.
And when I'm going to show you my butt. All right, that's fine.
That's why you wore it around everywhere else. What's the difference?
I'm more curious to know why you're looking at my butt so much. It's fine. Listen, I'm a supporter. Whatever you're into, man, I'm with you. I'm
got an O-ring on your butt, and it's Oakley.
Yeah.
So I want to. People need to visualize the stories of Jeff, the legend of trade shows, of how he walked around with an Oakley shorts and an O right on his butthole,
and often the police.
Yeah. That's it. I don't got any more topics, so I'm out of beer.
Wrap this crap
I'm
up.
out of beer. That's just in the other room, and I don't want to drink anymore. I'm going to go eat a hamburger.
I have a Molson Canadian on ice that I was ready in case this kept going.
Are you drinking beer on ice? Like, what's in your glass?
No. I had a rye. It's a Canadian whiskey. No, it's not open. I was going to open it if we kept going, but I'm glad we're not. I'm still going to open it, but just off air. I just came prepared, is what I'm saying.
RC Masters are.
You must be rich. You own rubbing alcohol?
RC Master is claiming voter fraud on the winner, but
take it up with our legal department.
I thought I saw Lawrence Baker, and then Larry Baker, who has no profile picture, just popped up. And
Well, he's got to email me from the email that won. So that's the only way to tell it, obviously.
I think he's been asking over and over what the email is too. If you want to answer that,
I already sent it to him, but that I know you're aware of everything.
No, I just want this to end.
I got what the hell?
What is that? What is that? Is that acetone? Oh, mineral spirits. Yeah. All right. Good. Yeah. Not as valuable as your rubbing alcohol, but still good.
Should I end it on the Derek's not excited voice watching how to?
Yeah, play it. It's better than anything else we did in that.
I should have made a new one by now. Again, same as last week, but I did not.
Yeah, that's fine.
So you get to watch it again, and then we'll be surprised. We'll be surprised when it's over.
Hey, Earl, that's the guy. Earl won. Earl, I'm pretty sure Earl Moorhead is the guy that won the Triple X Pain thing like a month and a half ago that I haven't said. Earl, I'm pretty sure it's you. If it is you, we'll talk this week and get that set up.
Send me my stuff.
Earl, yeah.
And I'll send Pete his stuff, and I'll send Derek his stuff.
Earl, if you're the winner of something, which he's probably messing with you right now, you can email me, then I'll email Jeff, and then he won't.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I don't have I remember his name. I'm pretty sure it was Earl. I think we should have a random guest on one of these random guys one week. I think that'd be fun, just to get some dude who has been watching on here to get some thoughts or ideas. Anyway, can we end this? How do we end this? What do we do? What do I have to say? Can I swear? And then that'll make it stop?
No, we're already past it. I don't think the swear filters last anymore. But Pete's going to...
Oh, yeah, Pete.
Hey, guys, the show's over, but let me explain what keeps this show going. It's not the terrible quality or the 38 cents. We're actually a magazine you download. And here's a quick video showing you how to do it. It's pretty simple. You get an email, click download. This is on an iPad, so the example's for an iPad. But it's pretty simple, and the same steps apply for every tablet. Just download it to your tablet. Comes on there, make it a library, put it on your iBooks or whatever PDF viewer you like, and then you have full access to all our back issues with flippable pages, links that direct you to an ad if you are interested in a high-tech servo or the new Associated drag car. You just click their links and it brings you right to their website. It's just like a magazine, but on your phone, so you read it in the bathroom, just like good old times, but now it's digital, so remember to wipe your phone down because that's gross. Support us, subscribe, do whatever you need to do.
Hey, and try to maybe make a new one, but it really depends if you guys subscribe. Otherwise, then why make a new one? Because it doesn't do anything. Bye.
It's not that bad. It's not bad.
It's not that
great.
great.
Bye, everyone.
Oh, it's not. I didn't push end broadcast.
We're not.
Completely.
So